guys, and welcome back to Gravey's Brewery with me, Gareth Goes Gravey. And guys, for this video, for this brew, I thought I'd take a stab at brewing something a little bit on the low side. Low ABV beer, because if you watch a lot of my videos, especially the reviews, you'll see that a lot of my beers come out quite high, between anything from 4.5 and upwards. So for this one I thought I'd go for something a little bit lower. And again, as you can see from the title, I'm bringing you my Rye Session Pale Ale. And as you can see from the particulars and the title below, this one has come out at 2.1% with 20 IBUs, bottled on the 10th of this month, so just a day shy of 2 weeks in the bottle. Those of you that know me with the brewing, this is one style that I have been wanting to try and brew for a long time. I have tried to brew 100% rye beers for the longest time, but they never come out really well. So I tried to do a full strength rye beer, and they always come out really thick, viscous. And I did one version of it which was really thick, had no carbonation, no head, and it was just ugh. So I thought I'd try again, just play with the recipe, and this is what I came with. So on the subject, whilst I pour, here comes some footage and I'll show you what I did. Okay, so as always, in 7 litres of water, I mashed 510 grams of malted rye. That was the only grains I used in this. I mashed for an hour at around about 64-65 degrees. After that hour I started my boil. Once the boil got going, I started off at 60 minutes with 2.9 grams of chinook. At flame out, I added a further 8 grams of chinook. I'll let that settle. I fermented with a packet of fermentis S33 Belgian yeast. Now, I was led to believe that it was an English yeast, but apparently it's a Belgian yeast. Starting gravity for this was a very low 1.023. Final gravity a few days later was 1.008 for the aforementioned final ABV of 2.1%. And I'm glad I had that footage rolling, because did have just a little bit of an issue with this beer, pouring it that is. Anyway, you just had a quick glance at it. Let me show you the beer. Anyway, rather nice, thick white head. Not entirely thick, the bubbles aren't exactly uniform, they are quite all over the shape, all over the shop with different shapes. Colour, it's a nice little light golden ale. Again, light in colour, almost a barley colour, as you can see. But as you can also see, it is actually very, very cloudy. guess that's what happens when you have 100% malted rye. So as a consequence, oh, I say that, you might just be able to see a little bit of carbonation making its way up the glass. Yes, you can. It's very nice. Actually getting some nice aromas just holding the glass just a few inches away from my nose. I must admit, before I carry on, I have actually had a bottle of this already. It wasn't at its best when I had it. It was a few days after bottling it. Again, this is a day, put my teeth in, a day shy of 2 weeks. With a bit of luck, it might have improved. Let's get it on the glass, let's see what we get. Well, straight off you can actually smell the rye. Almost a pastry kind of aroma there. Again, really, to say I actually only used 10 grams of chinook, the maltiness is actually quite powerful. Not really getting anything in the way of any hop aromas. Now again, all I'm getting is the malt, the rye malt. I am getting that rye aroma with a little bit of pastry. Tiny hint of a breadiness as well. Anyway, I'm just going to dive in for a taste. Cheers. And on the flavour, again on the flavour, I am getting that maltiness. It is actually tasting a lot thicker than I thought it would be. That viscous flavour is there, or the feel, the mouth feel is there. It is quite viscous. On the front end, again, very malt forward, that rye. Very malt forward. And just as I speak, there is quite a spiciness just kind of building up in the back of my throat. A little bit cinnamon like, a little bit peppery. On the back edge there is quite a wateriness there. Sadly, nothing much in the way of hops. I think the fact that it is essentially a 100% rye malted beer just really has overpowered any flavours from hops, flavours and aromas from hops. Again, it's not very harsh. There is just the spicy flavours just kicking in the back of the throat, the back of my mouth. It's not bitter. Despite the carbonation, it's not that bitter. The only bitterness is that watery kind of flavour just on the back edge. It's not bad, it's okay. I probably could do with revisiting this this recipe again. On the subject, I forgot to mention it at the beginning of the video. I got the idea for this recipe from the boys at Basic Brewing, James and Steve. I'll pop a link to their channel and the video where I got this recipe from. I know they tried it a couple of times themselves. This particular recipe, they found that it was actually decent. Myself, I'm glad I only brew small batches because it's alright, but it's not something that I would brew or drink every day. But again, recipe to the recipe to James and Steve's version, or the video for their recipes down in the description. I'll pop mine down there as well. If you like this sort of thing, give it a go. If you want to try and brew a 100% rye beer yourself, or a bigger batch, go for it. I think I might actually try and brew just a rye pale ale, get some pale malt in there. I don't know, we'll see. But again, if you want to buy the ingredients and try and brew it for yourself, guys, recipes down there. But again, it's well, I don't mind it. I'll leave that up to you. Alright guys, well, that was hopefully my quick review of this particular brew. As always, if you have any general comments, questions or queries about the beer, drop them down in the comments, we'll get some discussion going. And if you have brewed something like this before, and you agree or disagree with anything I've said in the course of this video, as always, drop your comments down there, we'll talk. And once again, the video where I got the recipe from, that will be down there in the description. My recipe will also be down there in the description as well, if you so wish to try it for yourselves. Alright guys, well that's all I've got for you for now. So until next time, from Gravey's Brewery, this has been Gareth Gravey. I'll see you later. Cheers.